and I think he lasted about a week and a half.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the West Ham Network, and guess what? We've still not signed a player. We have still not signed a player. I'm going to be taking a little break with the family. I'll maybe jump on here, there and everywhere, but I'm going to be off ski. I'm going to come down your neck of the woods, a little bit of the south coast as well. So yeah, looking forward to it. But I thought, you know, whilst West Ham aren't doing the job of bringing in players, I thought I'll do a little bit of research on a couple of players that you may know, you may not know of, and who we should bring in. And it's a no-brainer for me who we should bring in. There's several players that are out there, young, enthusiastic, dynamic players that we need to bring in. And if anything, the game against Rennes at the weekend really highlighted where we're faltering. And it's not going to take a lot for us to realize where we're faltering, because we've not brought any new faces in. You know, you have to bring new, fresh faces in. It's impossible to go throughout a season without bringing those fresh faces in, because people become complacent. And the game against Rennes really highlighted what we were missing. We were missing particular energy and determination in the middle of the park. The only player that could have stood out and did stand out was Paqueta. But he's on his own. He's on his own. And we need to resolve that sooner rather than later. Now, I did a video the other day on why I think West Ham should go and bring Conor Gallagher in, because we do know he is still available if the right price is to be offered out there, and of course if he wants to move as well. So I still think that's a great potential deal, and a deal that I think West Ham should try and get over the line, because he ticks the boxes for Tim Steidten and for David Moyes. You know, Premier League proven tick box David Moyes, young dynamic midfielder that Tim Steidten would have, I mean, if he was if playing in the foreign leagues, Tim Steidten probably would have been looking at him. It's just the fact that he's going to cost the money that he is looking at. But the big but is that there are a couple of players that we've been linked to. The first one I want to talk to you about is Doku And Tah. He's a centre half that plays for Bayer Leverkusen, German international, 6'5". He is a beast. He's fast, and he's absolutely fantastic in the centre half position. Now, we do have what looks like going to be a partnership between Zuma and a Gerd, and it looks like that's going to continue again this season. But the issue you have is if one of them picks up an injury, you don't have enough cover there, because Ogbonna doesn't look ready to rock and roll. He looks slow. He looks a little bit lethargic. And you can't really rely on him to fulfill the games that he's going to be, or the team's going to be asked to do for the season. You've got Thilo Kehrer, who I do think's an okay centre back. I prefer him playing in a back three, or just literally getting a bit of consistency and playing for the team in the same position week in and week out. But I don't know if that's going to happen. But you bring Doku And Tah in, and what you've got is a real strength and depth in that position in your centre half. In actual fact, one of the strongest centre half trio you could bring in. You know, you're going to have two German internationals on your books. You know, a Moroccan international and a Gerd, who I think's quality player, and Zuma, former French international as well. So Doku And Tah is a no-brainer, and you're going to get him, as it's been said and it's been quoted, for around about 18 million quid, something like that. But it's definitely below 20 million pounds. So you could be looking at paying low money for a very top-notch quality. No, he doesn't come with Premier League experience, but he does look like he ticks a lot of those boxes. And you've got to look at someone like Naif Gerd. He didn't come with the Premier League experience as well. So bring in Doku And Tah. He adds absolute strength and challenges for a spot in the first team, 1,000,000%. But the next player is a player that does excite me. And it's actually a player that you saw the other day. It's a player that, yeah, tore West Ham a new one, if I'm being brutally honest. He plays for Stade Rennes in France, and his name is Jeremy Doku. He was phenomenal. He was phenomenal. And I get it's only a friendly, but he made his debut for Anderlecht at the age of 16, and after 37 games in the Belgium League, he racked up 6 goals and 7 assists. Now, people will always say the level of the Belgium League is always going to be something that you need to be mindful of, but he was only 16 at the time, and Rennes came calling and thought, we need to bring this talent in. And a 21-year-old has taken his club career goal tally to 17 following the 22-23 campaign, where he really came out of his own. Not only did he create just six chances in the league, he was ranked third in the squad at the time. The winger also ranked 7th for key passes and first for successful dribbles per game across the whole of the Rennes squad. Now, it clearly, I think he, playing against West Ham, has shown what he is capable of doing. No ifs or buts about it. The boy has got so much creativity out in the wing and domineering. You know, he's part of a midfield that play that ticky-tacky football. I can actually put, and someone will say to me, well, why would we look at someone like Jeremy Doku? Because he plays predominantly on the right wing, and look what we've got, Jared Bowen on the right wing. But something we've always said is, you need a player to come in and challenge these players as well, and he's young enough to be able to do that. But the key element here, and the key point I want to bring into your attention here is he can play on the left wing. If I look at his full career stats, he's played 67 games out on the right wing and 24 games out on the left wing. So he is very, very vital in both of those positions, and his stats are in comparison for lower games on the left wing to higher games on the right wing. He scores goals and assists from both sides. So again, that's adding real strength and depth. And you could see how much he was penetrating West Ham's defence. You could see how quick thinking he is. And I think he's up there ranking with some of the top 50% 50 of the newest talent in the around the world coming through. Now, he ranked in the top 1% of progressive carries, which was 6.95 carries per game, and also in the top 1% for attacking the penalty area. He was also in the top 1% for successful take-ons per 90 minutes across Europe's big 5 leagues, clearly demonstrating that he is one of the best wingers potentially in Europe. Now, if we have someone who can be potent up top, someone who can put the ball into the back of the net, then you've got a Bowen and a Doku, then that adds absolute strength into your squad. That player's young, he's enthusiastic, he's dynamic, he's a ball carrier, he is a ball-carrying winger, and he's a very, very good footballer. And you're looking at potentially around about 25 million quid. This is why when you look at the philosophy of what Tim Steiden's trying to do, but you also understand that you need a little bit of Premier League experience and mix that into it. But if you're bringing in someone like Doku and Tah, you're looking at potentially spending just under 50 million quid for 2 international players, German international, Belgium international. Doku's worked his way up through the ranks and is scoring goals at international level for the senior team and Belgium. So I'm not saying, I know we've been linked to Jonathan Tah in the past. We've not necessarily been linked to Jeremy Doku, but these 2 players, we should be pushing boundaries out to go and get them. Anyway, I just thought I'd bring you a little bit of a kind of scout situation on these 2 players. Tah we're linked to, Doku we're not, but these are the 2 sort of players I think West Ham should go to, especially the fact we've just seen him play and he terrorized West Ham in the middle of the park. And you add a Tah, and you add a Doku, and you add a Gallagher, and in actual fact, just the Doku and the Gallagher, that just changes the full dynamic of the West Ham team in the middle of that park. We look frightening. Bowen one side, Doku on the left, Paqueta through the middle with Gallagher. My word, man. Pace, energy, fight, creativity, you name it, it's all there, and that's what we need to do. Anyway, I'm going to leave you. Join the guys over on the channel later on for Hammers Headlines. Take it easy, and of course, come on, you Iron.